Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle, Bet, Celly, Chris Meaney, and the Eric Young here with you. It feels like forever since I'm chatting with Eric all the time, but forever since I've seen this beautiful face, and Eric, forever since we've seen some beautiful NHL hockey. And we got, as of now, 3 games on the schedule. Yeah. Hopefully you had a great Christmas. Happy holidays. Hopefully you had a great break, dude. And welcome back, man. You ready to rock?
Yeah, so far so good. I'm still up here in my Canadian bunker. I'm at my sister's house visiting. So this looks slightly different. Obviously the lighting is not ideal.
You got any light there up in Canada or what?
I don't have my whole setup here. You'll probably hear my maniac nephew running around upstairs. I don't know. I feel like it's definitely he's trying to break the floor. He doesn't know how to walk, and he runs everywhere. He's a complete lunatic. Yeah, fingers crossed that we get some games. Look, boys, got my Christmas jersey.
Oh, baby. Nice.
It's just the captain. The wife, she's the captain. We got our custom names on the back. They're Christmas jerseys because I'm a crazy person.
Yeah, your nephew takes after you, I guess.
He's got the blood.
Is he a hockey psycho?
He got a net. And a mini stick net and ball, and he's been playing that. He's only 3, so he's just a brain, just a mindless heathen at this point.
Soon he'll be asking you like random wrestling moves, right? He'll be asking you.
Yeah, he asked me to wrestle yesterday. I said no, I only do that when I get paid. He'll hurt me like he's out of his mind.
Did you ever play mini sticks and stuff like that growing up? All the time, like when we
scars all over my knees to prove it.
Oh, yeah. All the time. I used to play with my uncle all the time around Christmas time when I'd go visit him out in Newfie, and I'd play there. And then we'd all play, in the hotel. Growing up on hockey teams when we had trips and we'd go on trips and we were in hotel, we were always playing. We couldn't get enough hockey, right? In the hallway, in the hallway, in the hotel, breaking shit. We were always playing. All right, guys, welcome back. Troy Noack hanging out with us. We are back in action, asking if you should pick up Phil Kessel just for today. Dustin hanging out with us as well. Good to have the show back. Good to have you guys back here today with us. Only 3 games to talk about. We can't talk some season-long stuff. If you have any questions throughout the show, please leave them there. Subscribe, smash that like button. You have any questions, as always, you can leave them there. And I'll circle back on the YouTube page. We are live on Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, wherever it is that you listen to your podcast. Tell a friend. That would help this podcast grow. I mean, from a season-long standpoint, Troy, just to get to your question right off the top, I think most standard leagues, Yahoo, ESPN, Fantrax, is a 2-week period here with the holiday break and really just not being a lot of action anyways on the schedule. Despite the COVID stuff, we weren't supposed to get any games on Christmas Eve or Christmas and Boxing Day. It was a really light schedule as opposed from yesterday. There was like 13 games or something supposed to happen. So I think it's a 2-week period. Troy, I don't know how many moves you have, but I mean, if you have them and they reset after the week, why not use them? Like, don't waste them. Like, use them. Try to get the best of your opponent. Make sure you get your minimum goalie starts. That's going to be something that I'm going to try to get this week. I didn't get them in a couple leagues last year. My minimum goalie starts is nothing worse than that, right? Just the clean sweep. You lose all 5 goalie categories because you can't get any goalie starts. So it's pretty crazy out there. Toronto, Minnesota, Dallas, and Colorado, they only have 1 game this week as of now. Tampa's the only team with 4. They're in action tonight against the Canadiens. And then there's the rest of the league plays 3 or 2. I got them all written down here. Off the top of my head, there's probably 20 teams that play at least 3 games. So there's some action out there. But EY, before you came on, you were talking about your team just being in straight up shambles, like IR, COVID. Again, what we said last week, don't just drop these guys. It's 1 week. There's still so much action left. Like, you can't be dropping all these studs, but I think
it's still for everybody, right? Like, that's what you got to keep in mind. You're looking at your team. You're like, oh my God, I got nobody playing. Everybody's on the IR or day-to-day or COVID or whatever. The reality is this is the same thing for everybody. No one's going to be scoring points. No one's going to be logging regular minutes or assists or goals or anything in your season long. So just ride it out. I mean, like, if there's somebody available that's playing and, you can sneak out a victory this week, or, it's like Chris was saying, somebody that's playing 3 or 4 games this week, pick them up and ride them this week. Keep your fingers crossed that games are played. I mean, it's starting to get pretty bleak, like I think they'll figure it out. My hope is that they'll figure it out and they'll go more to the same testing system that the NFL is going to. But who knows?
Yeah. Troy, if you're just looking for somebody for tonight, I mean, why not roll with Tampa, a Tampa player if you can? I know Kessel's, he's got some upside here. Clayton Keller, he's in action tonight. These guys are, Keller's one of the most added players as of this morning. His ownership has jumped up 27%. He's up to only to 30 now on Yahoo. But, man, he was on a bit of a heater. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But 15 shots in his last 2 games. He's interesting from a season-long standpoint. But these, just check your waiver wire. You never know. Certain guys that were dropped, right? You just don't know who panicked in your league. It's very possible that there were some good players that were dropped here. I mean, Killorn, 65%. He's available in some of my leagues. Again, 4 games this week is pretty huge. You can stream him for the week and then, cut your ties with him. Andre Palat, he's probably owned. It looks like Braden Point could return here this evening. Could return to the lineup. Obviously, he is owned, but make sure you activate him. And Cirelli is on the COVID list. So this is going to be an opportunity for some guys to get a little bit more ice time. But yeah, any season-long stuff, we can hit it throughout the show. You guys leave your question there and see what you have. Troy is asking if you watch UFC because I am not a big UFC guy, but I'm assuming you are a UFC
Yeah, I've watched. I don't know if I've missed a pay-per-view since 1996. I do not bet on it. I do not understand. it. And I don't understand the scoring. I'll watch a fight and I'll clearly think a guy has won and he loses. So it's not something that I'm educated enough on to bet on. I bet on football a little bit, but hockey is really the only thing I bet on because it's the only thing I feel I understand partially enough to put money on something. But I do watch UFC religiously. I've seen almost every pay-per-view and every fight night since 1996. So.
And you don't know the scoring. It's amazing to me that you've seen every pay-per-view since then. I don't either. I've seen it. I've watched it. I've definitely watched my fair share, but I can't give any betting advice, and I can't even tell you who the top 5 fighters are at this moment in UFC life. I can't. But we'll move on. We'll talk about what we know best. The NHL. Let's start tonight with the Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning. As I mentioned, it does sound like Braden Point could return to the lineup here tonight. Just looking at some other guys. Nikita Kucherov, obviously, still out. Mentioned Anthony Cirelli. He's out. We got Mikhail Sergachev, who is on the COVID list as well. Guys, these things can change. We're coming at you early, mid-afternoon. I don't know. Some of these guys could pop off the COVID list. Eric Chernak is not expected to play either. On the Montreal side of things, this is a roster. Oh, my goodness. Listen to this. Hoffman out, Petrie out, Dvorak out, Toffoli out, Josh Anderson out, Ben Sherratt out, Gallagher is questionable, Lehkonen is out, Paul Byron is out, Yoel Armia is out, Matthew Perreault is out, and then, of course, we know that Carey Price is out, and on top of that, Jake Allen is out. This is a roster that the Canadiens are rolling out tonight. $29 million roster. A $29 million roster. They're 28, 25 below the minimum floor and $50 million below the cap here tonight.
Crazy.
On the other side, Tampa Bay also missing Vasilevsky and Brian Elliott. So a lot of star power out of the lineup here tonight between these two teams. I'm shocked that this game is actually a go. There's other teams across the league that have fewer COVID cases than the Canadiens, but nonetheless, here we are. Tampa, massive home favorites, despite missing Vasilevsky, minus 265, and then Montreal plus 240. There's no way in hell I'm going to back this Canadian squad. There's guys on here that I'm going to see for the first time ever play in the NHL here tonight, so going to back away from Montreal, but we'll get involved with some prop stuff. Will you take Tampa on the puck line? Will you go with the Canadiens here? What do you think?
If I was going to do anything, I'd go Tampa on the puck line, but I'm probably not going to touch it. I might go look into some of the anytime scorers here. That's kind of what I like to do. I let you take care of the props and the shot props and assists and all that other stuff, and I do anytime scorers and winning and losing. If Tampa Bay loses this game, I quit life. Just kind of in general.
Well, just because of the roster? These are the players that are playing tonight for Montreal that played against Tampa Bay just 6 months ago in the Stanley Cup Finals. Nick Suzuki, Brandon Gallagher, Jake Evans, maybe Gallagher, Jake Evans, Cole Caulfield, Alexander Romanov, who was basically a healthy scratch throughout the entire playoffs, and Brett Kulak.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I see. Jonathan Duran's playing tonight, but he didn't play at all in the playoffs. He was away for personal reasons. They just don't have this is not even clearly as good AHL roster at the moment.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, Tampa's going to win this game. And if they don't, then that means the world is coming to an end. And I love all you guys.
All right, so what are you thinking for goal scorers here? I got some, Victor Hedman's the first guy that pops up for me for a shot prop at 2.5. He is plus 100 over at DraftKings. For him to get an assist, he's minus 115. I've been you're going down the Steven Stamkos road here tonight. I don't mind going down the Braden Point one if he returns. I'm seeing Unibet has him at 2.5 shots at minus 112. Steven Stamkos, you going back to Stammer tonight here?
I mean, I think anytime scorer, he's a plus 120. I mean, I don't know. That feels like a pretty sure bet to me. If Braden Point plays, DraftKings has got him at plus 130 to be an anytime scorer. I would probably hammer both of those guys, to be honest. And then looking at it, like Andre Palat's playing on the first line, playing on the top power play, plus 190. Like, that's interesting. I mean, there's not a player on Tampa that's not interesting to score tonight. I mean, like, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. The game shouldn't be happening. Montreal shouldn't be forced to play tonight. We talked a little before. Who knows what's happening or how they come to this decision, but it seems like a very strange decision. It's not an NHL team in any way, shape, or form. So,
no. Hedman 2.5 shots plus money. For him to get an assist is basically even money. Stamkos to get an assist over at DraftKings is plus 100. Andre Palat to get a point is minus 115. I think we had this exact scenario a couple weeks ago when these two teams played. We had all of these guys to get the points and the shots, and we got it pretty late. I think Montreal was up 2-1 with a few minutes left in the third, and they blew that game. They lost 3-2. But Palat had a point. Stamkos had a point. Hedman had his 3 shots. There's other guys that I think I'd get involved here. Maybe Killorn, especially if there's no Braden Point. I would like Killorn. But those are like the 3 for me. Actually, you can include Stammer. All 5 of their guys. Like their number 1 power play tonight is all in play if you want to take them for points or assists. Killorn, Point, Palat, Stamkos, Hedman. That's it. On the other side of this too, like as much as I'm ripping the Habs here, Suzuki and Gallagher and Duran, these guys are going to get a lot of ice time here tonight. And they're going to have an advantage with no Vasilevsky in net. That's huge, right? Looks like Legacy is going to get the start here for the Bolts. So Suzuki's going to be plus money for 2.5 shots. Caulfield's going to be plus money for 2.5 shots, most likely. These guys are going to be in play, but I like the Tampa guys a little bit more. And from a DFS standpoint, I mean, don't ignore the cheap value here on the board. Like, you may not even have to use a lot of your salary. I'm sure the Bolts are going to be extremely expensive tonight. I think Montembeault is getting the call for the Canadians. It could be Primo, one of the two, but neither of these guys are solid goalies. But on the other side for Montreal, like you could save a lot of cash by going Suzuki at 4.8. If Gallagher plays, he's 3.8. Jonathan Duran is down to 3.3. But I think maybe my favorite Hab on the board tonight is just David Savard at 3.4. With Petrie and Sherratt out of the lineup, David Savard is probably going to play 24, 25 minutes tonight. He can get the shot and the block bonus for you pretty easily. He's been doing that over the past couple games anyways. Like, look at some of these games, 4, 4, 3, 4, 6, 2, 4 blocks. He had a game with 4 shots, 4 blocks, and assists. He racked up 19 fantasy points. So he's somebody to consider. And then Kale Clegg is also somebody to consider at 2.5. He's probably going to flirt in the 20-minute range, maybe get time on that number 1 power play unit. Romanov's going to get time on that number 1 power play unit as well. We could see some goals here, man. It could be like a 5-2, 5-3 hockey game tonight. With 2-3 stud goalies. We can call Allen one too. With 3 stud goalies out of the lineup and going to third stringers on both teams are rolling out 3rd and 4th string goalies tonight.
Yeah, it feels kind of like we're in bizarro land, right? Like I already said it. I don't need to say it again. The game probably shouldn't be played. Tampa is going to win this game. There's not a single doubt. Anybody that's playing, I think, keep an eye on daily faceoff. Whoever's going to play on that top power play, some of these young kids and players that are not ready for NHL speed are going to be chasing these NHLers around. And I feel like there's good. I mean, already Montreal's been on a parade to the penalty box to begin with, and they're a terrible penalty killing team. Having players that aren't NHL caliber is not going to improve that situation. So anyone playing on the Tampa Bay power play, get them in there, man. Get them in there big time.
All right, we'll move on from here. I see the comments of World Juniors. Yeah, absolutely, Dustin. Perfetti, McTavish, a beautiful goal the other night. Owen Power had the hat trick. Sabres fans got to be pretty excited to get this guy in their lineup in a couple years. But yeah, Team Canada in action today and Team USA in action today. And I think both teams will get the W's. Watch Sweden last night, and Wallstad, man, phenomenal in net. The World Juniors is fun. So it's been nice to have a little bit of hockey here over the past couple of weeks. You see George hanging out with the elbow cough. Did I do the elbow cough? Have I done? I mean, I've been coughing, I think, for a couple weeks. It's just not good. Not what you want, but it's tis the season. So we'll move on here. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us here today. Again, any questions, leave them there. We'll get to them. The second game on the slate, it also has a ton of injury news here today. It is it's Vegas and LA. So we have the Kings, home favorites at plus 130, the Golden Knights minus 135. We don't know about a couple of the top dogs for the Golden Knights. Currently says day-to-day for Pacioretty and Mark Stone. These guys are both game-time decisions. Alex Pietrangelo is on the COVID list. I know, right? Like, what are we doing here?
My sister's cat just made an appearance here, guys. You can see
I missed it. Oh, yeah.
If you can see him on my screen, he's break.
Black cat.
There he is.
Hanging out with the creepy eyes.
There he is.
Ooh.
Awesome
What's
cat.
his name? What's his name?
Berlioz from the Aristocrats, and he's awesome. He's like a dog. He's he's the best. I think Mark was saying new office. No, this is a spare room at my sister's house, and it is brutal. I'm sure the sound is not great. The light is terrible. And no, this is not a Kirill Kaprizov jersey. It's a Christmas jersey with Santa Claus on it. I'm the assistant captain.
It's an amazing jersey. So
awesome.
the Golden Knights, Pietrangelo, Robin Lehner, Max Pacioretty, Mark Stone. These guys could be out here tonight. On the LA side of things, they're dealing with a few issues as well. Philip Deneau, no-go. Shane Walker, IR. Edler, IR. Dustin Brown looks out, and I think they're good in net with Jonathan Quick here tonight. So a little too early to call. You guys, I love Vegas. Like, I back these guys all the time, especially on the road when I get minus 150. I usually try to get them to win in regulation at even money here. But, man, I'm not going to lie. Like, if there's no Stone and there's no Pacioretty, I don't think I'm going to back this squad here tonight. I would take the Kings. I mean, the odds would change. It's up to you guys what kind of risk you want to take. For me, right now, I'd lean Vegas. But if there's no Stone, no Pacioretty, keep an eye on that stuff. You can make the switch and go to LA. They'll probably still be plus money at home, but you won't get them at plus 130. What do you think? Do you just roll with LA right now, or do you wait this one out a little bit just to see?
Yeah, I think I would wait on all the bets because I mean, as everybody knows, if you're watching the show, like everything is an upheaval. Like nobody knows what's happening right now. My inclination would be to lean the Kings tonight. At home for season long, and DraftKings, Adrian Kempe has been playing on that top line, shooting the puck a ton, scoring and playing very, very well. I think we talked about him a couple weeks ago, and that's a guy that, he's probably not highly owned because he's a very small known player, but he's a really good player, and he's playing some important minutes for the Kings right now.
Yeah, I think maybe we just lean with the Kings, a slight lean, but I'll be honest, guys, if, Pacioretty and Stone play tonight, that'll be my lean, but I do like LA's top line, as you mentioned on DraftKings, pretty affordable too, with Kempe at 4-3 and Iafallo at 5 up in that top line with Kopitar. Alex Turcotte is penciled in to play second line for Philip Deneau here tonight. He's 2-5. He's pretty interesting to make his debut here. He was called up from the taxi squad. And that's the thing with some of the new NHL COVID rules. They're going to incorporate like larger taxi squads and, just easier to call up certain players. So a lot of these Kings could certainly be in play here tonight. And, Brossoit's been actually okay in net. Not that I'm like, let's stack the Kings here to get 5 goals. I do expect Laurent Brossoit to get the call here tonight with Lehner. Day to day, he's been okay, right? Like I said, he's 6-3 and 904 save percentage. He's had a couple rough goes lately, but I think we're in on the Kings from a shot prop standpoint. I like that second line. It looks like they're going to be intact for Vegas. They're not dealing with anything. No day-to-days, no COVID as of now. William Carlson was on a bit of a heater before the break. That top line was playing pretty good. He doesn't have points in his last 3, but since he returned to the lineup, he's been shooting the puck a little bit more. 4 points in 4 games before that mini 3-game cold spell. And then his wingers, Marchessault and Riley Smith. We had a joke, I think it was on this show or Mean Streets. It seems like either Marchessault or Pacioretty hit, like never one, never both. Yep. Yeah. So maybe we go with Marchessault here. But Marchessault's got 3 goals in his last 4 games. He's had at least 4 shots in 3 of his past 5. 5 shots just 2 games ago against the Islanders. So that's the line I think that I am intrigued with. You can maybe stack that line and stack LA's top line and still have money to spend on a Hedman or a Stamkos in that Tampa game if you wanted to. Anything else? What are you doing? You're doing Kempe anytime goal here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I would. I can't bet because I'm in Ontario. So, yeah, it won't let me.
What? On DraftKings, it won't let you. Yeah, you'd have to sign up Bet365 or Bodog or Coolbet. Yeah. In Canada, eh? It's rough. Rough go.
And I tried to do, I tried to use my VPN to sneak around it, but I'm not smart enough to figure it out. So.
No dice. Back to Adrian Kempe for a little. Back to Adrian Kempe for a little bit. So the ice time since he's been up on that top line, he's jumped up. His last game, 22 minutes. He's got at least 19 minutes in 3 of his past 4, and he's been shooting the puck quite a bit. 4, 4, 2, 4, 6, and 2. So I like him tonight for over 2.5 shots. And I think, that'd be the guy if you're looking for a goal scorer for the Kings. Maybe he or Iafallo, right? Arvidsson's usually a guy we like for shot props, but playing with Turcotte and Trevor Moore, a bit of a downgrade for his line mates here this evening. So Kempe from a shot prop standpoint and maybe from an anytime goal standpoint. And also, Kopitar's been shooting the puck too, a little bit more, but he's a guy that I think, from a point standpoint, let me just check out right quick. I think he would probably be plus money for an assist, which he shouldn't be because he's plus 120 for an assist here tonight. And he's minus, it's a bit steep, minus 150 for a point, but I do think he hits the score sheet. Plus 120 for a point's not bad. And then I follow for his shots and for him to score. Brendan's on board. Brendan's like in the Kings here. And Shea Theodore at 2.5 shots as well, especially if Pietrangelo Stone and Theodore or Pacioretty Stone and Pietrangelo out of the lineup. Shea Theodore is going to be a guy that I like at 2.5 shots. All right, final game here before we wrap up. We got San Jose and Arizona. The Sharks are dealing with a lot here, too. Thomas Hertl is not going to play. Dahling is not going to play. Those are 2 guys who are inside their top 6 here tonight. Looks like they're okay in goal with James Reimer. Aiden Hill is on the IR. On the other side of things for Arizona, they look okay aside from Jacob Chikrin, who generates a lot of shot attempts and a lot of offense for Arizona. I mean, not a ton of offense, but he at least is a big part of what they throw on net. I think I'm feeling the Arizona Coyotes here as an underdog. I don't think the Sharks minus 208. I don't think they should be favored against anybody in the NHL at minus 208, especially with Thomas Hertl out of the lineup. Like Hertl's been a guy that's been playing pretty good for them. So now I look at their lineup and I see one dangerous line, the Couture line here tonight. Arizona plus 195. Dude, why don't we just get nuts here on a Tuesday?
Zero dangerous lines. Yeah, I mean, oh man, I don't know. I don't know if I can bet. I don't know if I can bet Arizona to win a hockey game, man.
They just beat our Ducks 6-5 the last time out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, it's the NHL. It's madness. But, I mean, I still believe, I said this the other day, I watched them play the Predators live, and they have some players for sure. Chikrin, is a player. Keller on any other team is a top-line player and is noticed and shooting the lights out. But this might be other than expansion teams, this might be the worst team on paper in the history of the NHL, which is unacceptable.
It might be the Habs.
Been around for over almost 20 years. Well, tonight it's the Habs, for sure.
You're right. I mean, Montreal's dealing with some injuries. You're right. This team is brutal. They're awful.
They're brutal.
They are. They're very bad. I'm picking them tonight. I'm getting nuts. I'm picking Arizona. It's a 3-game slate. What do we do here? Like Tampa on the puck line. I'm torn on the Kings and the Golden Knights. Like I like LA if those top guys are out. And I'm gonna pick Arizona at plus 200. I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna ride with them
vicariously through you because I can't.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it together, guys. Let's get on this together. At least let's get the Clayton Keller shot prop at 2.5, right? For 15 shots in his last 2 games for Clayton Keller. I think we can get on board with that one. I don't know how much offense we really see in this game. Timo Meier at 3.5 shots is a guy that I like as well. 4, 5, 4, 6 in his last couple of games. So he's going to play 20 minutes tonight. Again, San Jose's missing a couple guys. It does look like they're going to get Brent Burns back in the lineup, so that's great. Erik Carlson. These guys are 6'9", 6'7". I don't want to spend that kind of dough on them on his draft from a DraftKings standpoint. I'd rather try to maybe get up to a Timo Meier, but I am in on Clayton Keller. It does not feel fantastic to be on Arizona, but I am in on them as well. You know, Keller's got 5 points and 3 goals in his last 2 games here tonight, or in his last 2 games. And from just a prop standpoint, apart from his shots, he's plus 160 for an assist. That's a little risky. Plus 140 for a point is not great either. This is what we're dealing with, dude. I don't think I have too much more to say other than this. On my card here today, I got Stamkos for 2.5 shots. I got Kempe for 2.5 shots. I got Keller for 2.5 shots. I got Braden Point 2.5 and Marchessault 2.5. I think, you know, if I'm picking goal scorers here this evening, I think that if Braden Point plays, I think Point scores. I think Andre Palat scores. I think Hedman finds an assist. I think Stamkos finds an assist. Both of those guys plus money. In the Vegas LA game, we like Kemper to score, like Kopitar to hit the score sheet as well. I do like Marchessault and Theodore. Arizona, Seattle. I'm going to back or San Jose. I'm going to back Arizona here. Why not? Clayton Keller 2.5 shots and Timo Meier over 3.5 shots. I actually like Carlson as well. Erik Carlson. I think we gave him out a couple weeks ago and he didn't hit, but consistently this has been a guy that has been hitting. I'm not seeing a shot prop up for him yet, guys. He's plus 180 for an assist tonight. I'm definitely interested in that. DraftKings showing plus 180. Caesar's showing minus 120. He's plus 100 at DraftKings to get a point, and he's minus 169 over at Caesar's to get a point. So he is going to be on my card as well. You can't bet, but let's recap what you got.
Yeah, I would do Kings to win tonight. I could not bet on Coyotes. I would still think the Sharks win that game, and I would bet Tampa Bay to win. Anytime scores, I'd go Stamkos and Point if he plays. I would go Keller, I would go Timo Meier, and I would go Kempe, and I would probably go Marchessault because, like we said before, it's Marchessault or it's Pacioretty, and I feel, you know, Marchessault hasn't scored in a bit, he's due. But that would be the bets I went with today. But I'm in communist Ontario, so I'm not allowed.
I love it. Guys, just hanging out. It looks like we're done. We're pretty much done. Brendan has a question for you, but he says totally fine if this goes unanswered. EY, do you see that question? Did you want to address it?
Your favorite person to be in the ring against? I mean, that's a long list. Obviously, Kurt Angle was. It's an honor to wrestle someone like him, and a very giving person and a really intense person, and you know kind of got to bring your A game when you're in there with Kurt. Bobby Roode is on that list. Adam Cole is on that list. Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann. I mean, it's a long list, man. I've been doing it for a long time, and I've had the pleasure of sharing the ring with a lot of talented people. But Kurt is definitely up there. Memorable for me. I wrestled Sting. That was a big deal for me. I promised myself I wouldn't cry, and I didn't, so it was good.
Mark says Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I mean he's everything. He's 90% of the reason I'm in wrestling. I wrote an article. You can probably still find it on ESPN. It's called "My Love Letter to the Heartbreak Kid." Me and him are actually really good friends now. He doesn't wrestle anymore, and hasn't wrestled the entire time I've been an active wrestler, really. And certainly was retired when I was working in the WWE. So if I could wrestle anybody, anytime, that's who it would be. Shawn Michaels, not a doubt.
Nice. I like it. You got some fans in here. Brendan says Sting was his neighbor in Texas and that he's been watching
cool.
you for years. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I'm an old man.
Any final questions, guys? Now is the time to get to them. If you're just stumbling across the show, late afternoon, again, you can leave them there, and I will circle back before puck drop. We probably will have a lot of news here. We'll have a DFS article live over at ftndaily.com if you're looking to be part of the FTN fam. Use that promo code NHL. Save yourself a little bit of cash if you want to be part of the NHL betting package or the NHL DFS package, which will include college sports, NASCAR, esports. It's all included into one big FTN Gold package is what we are calling it. And I think that's it, man. I wanted to talk a little season-long stuff, but I don't think there's really, a whole lot. We said off the top, Tampa plays 4 games this week. So if you're looking for a streaming option this week, that's the team I would start with. Toronto, Minnesota, Dallas, Colorado plays one. They all play one game. I don't think I would drop anybody from those teams. Like, that top line of Dallas you hold on to. You're obviously holding on to Minnesota and even Eriksson Ek. Colorado, you're hanging on to those studs. Toronto, you're hanging on to those studs. I've hung on to Andre Kasha. Even though Toronto only has one game here today and COVID is ramping through their squad, I'm still holding on to him. I'm looking at the big picture. I don't think there's any reason to panic. There's still a lot of fantasy hockey left. We're still, in week 10? There's another 6 or 7 weeks at least before we start panicking about, playoffs. So don't drop a great guy for like Phil Kessel for tonight. There's really no need of that. If you're looking for a Coyote to stream this week, we talked about Clayton Keller, and Nick Schmaltz has been pretty good on that top line as well. I think that's it. I don't really have a whole lot to say. You good?
Yeah, we said what we can. We could go on a rant about protocols and everything else, but we got no say in it. We all want hockey back. Let's hope that common sense prevails. That's the only hope here. I get they want to keep everybody safe, but the rules are a little too stringent in the NHL right now, especially in Canada. If those don't change, there's going to be no hockey played in Canada. So, COVID's not going away. I hate to tell anybody, and if anyone thought that was happening, that's not true. It's going to be part of our life for a long time.
We'll have to go back to the North Division. Maybe the Habs will get everybody healthy, and then they'll make the playoffs.
Go back to the North, and everyone moves to Red Deer, and they play and live in a hotel. And that's I don't wish that on anybody, because that was basically my life for almost 13 years living in hotels. So that sucks. So hopefully they get it figured out and we get hockey back, because this stinks.
Me too. 2 years in hotels in Alberta and parts of BC working in the oil patch for a couple of years. Not fun. Not fun at all. No. Mark will get you his shirt. Nate Dogg just checking in. Montreal puck line. I think PL means puck line. Yep. Not for me, sir. Maybe no, sir. This is like we said off the top. They're just missing so many guys here today. They have a roster that they're icing that's making a combined $29 million. 6 guys on their squad tonight that played in the finals 6 months ago. Onto their third string goalie. I get no Vasilevsky. It's not a bet for me. I think Tampa probably wins this game by a couple. Braden Point back in the lineup gives them a bit of a spark. I think, as crazy as we're getting here today with Arizona in only 3 games, I don't think is a time to get in on Montreal. Maybe from a DFS standpoint in tournaments, you can attack that top line. But that's it. From Eric Young, Tino, myself, Chris Meaney. Thanks, guys, for taking the time to hang out. We missed you. Hopefully you have a great holiday. And we will be back on Thursday as long as everything is good to go in the NHL. So one more show here before we turn the page on 2022. All right? Have a good one. Cheers.